Hey folks, thanks for stopping by. So I was contacted a few weeks back by Campark, a manufacturer of trail cams. They asked me to review one of their cameras and they allowed me to choose what camera I wanted to review. In exchange, I get the camera for free. I'll give you an honest review of the camera. I chose the TC08 or TC08 Solar powered camera. I don't have a solar powered camera, so I wanted to try one of those out. That's why I chose this one. I'll have to move some of my cameras around. I've got one camera set up in my yard right now that gets quite a bit of sunshine. So I'm going to put this camera in roughly the same place as the other camera. That one's battery powered, so I'm going to put that one out in the woods down the far end of my property on what is usually a pretty active wildlife trail out in the woods. So I'll unbox this camera and we'll do a quick review of it, and then I'll set it up outside for see what it captures. One problem I have right now is we have a large pack of coyotes in the area, and they've pretty much either cleaned out most of the other wildlife or chased it all away. So I'm hoping that we don't get just coyotes on the camera. I'm hoping for some other wildlife as well. So let's unbox this and see what we have inside. Okay. All right, so inside the box we have a quick guide, which is a frequently asked questions card, how to install the item, what if it has a quality issue, contact them, how to process if I want to return, replace it, and what's the warranty. It provides a 1-year warranty. If you want to extend the warranty to 2 years, you can contact the company to register it. A quick pamphlet here on simple operating instructions. Gives you a step-by-step process. Pictorial guide on how to set up the camera for use. It takes several minutes, so I'm not going to go through all that right now. I'll set it all up off camera. Here's a thicker instruction manual, more detailed instruction manual. Also gives some of the specs on the camera, and it's in 3 languages, so it's a fairly thick manual, but it's really it's split up into 3 languages, so it's not that cumbersome for each language. Now, some of the specs on the camera: the lens, the f is a 4.3. Triggering time is approximately 1/10 of a second. Storage formats: JPEG JPEG for photo and MP4 for video. Total sensor angle is 120 degrees, and the triggering distance is 20 meters, which I believe is about 60 feet. So now the camera. As I mentioned, it's a solar powered camera. It's a fixed position solar panel. Some cameras have movable solar panels, so you can better capture the sun's rays. This one's fixed. There are some protective films on the lenses here, so those have to be removed before the camera's used. It's a good sturdy product, very well built, and appears to be watertight. So on the back side, there's the slots here for the straps, which I prefer to use. There's also little slots here for a security cable. I don't use those. And then it's got the threaded mount here. I'll get to that in a minute. There's some mounting hardware that goes in there. I don't use that. I use the straps. It's got the mounting bracket that you can use on a building or on a tree. All the hardware to go with it. mounting strap, and a USB cable. So inside the camera, a couple of clips there. Open it up. There's a card in here. It says before you start. So it's just some reminders. Please insert a memory card into the camera. Tear off all the protective films, which I mentioned on the front here. Tear off all the films. And then it says to maximize the capture result, when the battery power runs low, the camera will only take photos or record in black and white in photo and video mode. There is a compartment here for 4 AA batteries. These batteries act as backups to the solar power. So if there's not enough solar, if the internal battery isn't charged enough by the solar panel, the 4 batteries will kick in and do some recording for a short time. Down here is the setup controls. I'll try to turn this on, but it hasn't been charged yet, so it may just kick on for a second and then probably shut off. Yep, goodbye. But it's got a good clear screen there. Let's see if we can see it again. Good clear screen in color. And there are several languages you can set up in the camera. So these are all the devices. And this is where you set everything up. Again, I'm not going to go through all that. It just takes too long. So I'll do that off camera and then put the camera outside and see what I can capture on my property. So what I'm going to do with this camera, since it's solar powered, I don't want to put it out in my woods. I wanted another camera out towards the back side of my property, but that's not going to work too well with the solar power. So I'm going to move some of my cameras around. I've got a camera right now out in my yard, back corner of my yard, and I'm going to move that one out into the woods, out towards the back end of my property, and this one I'll put in its place in the yard, and see what it captures in the yard. I capture more wildlife out in the woods, obviously, but I think I can capture a few things, maybe some deer, some fox, and who knows what else out in the yard. One thing I'm hoping for is that we get a variety of wildlife. Right now we've got a large pack of coyotes that have been roaming the area, and they've either chased away or cleaned out much of the other wildlife. So lately all I've been getting on my cameras is coyotes. I'm hoping that being in the yard, this will capture something besides just coyotes. I know the coyotes come into the yard, but they seem to try to stay out in the woods more. They try not to come too close to the house. So we'll set this up in the yard and see what we capture. Well, as I predicted, we didn't get much in the way of wildlife. Normally we'd have bears and mountain lions and bobcats and moose and deer and turkeys. The bears are hibernating right now, so I didn't expect to get them. But I got what I could. Unfortunately, it was mostly coyotes and some foxes and a few other creatures here and there. But as far as the camera, I'm really happy with it. It's taking real sharp images, picking up movement from quite a distance away. Some of the movement was probably 150 feet away, and I picked that up. So I'm really happy with the camera. And I put it in 3 different locations. I wanted to try it out in the shade. So the first location was on an apple tree that I'll show you right here. I mounted it on that apple tree facing out toward the road, and that's where you saw the fox running around. And then I put it right here on this tree, which is shaded, so it'll get sunlight a portion of the day, but for the vast majority of the day it would be in the shade. And the batteries stayed charged. And then the third location was way out, let's see, way out in the bush out there, way out. So again, out there, it was in the shade almost all day. It got very little sunlight, but it still stayed charged. So again, I'm really happy with the camera. I think it did a fantastic job. It takes fantastic videos and stills. And I wanted to give you an example of both, the videos and the stills. And I think it did a fantastic job. So I'm real happy with it. I recommend, if you want a solar powered camera for a reasonable price, I recommend the Campark Solar Camera. So thanks folks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.